Hello everyone, my name is Florencia and my classmate's name is Agustin. Today we are going to talk about audiolingual method. This is our agenda. First, we are going to explain what is audiolingual method. After that, main principles, types of learning and teaching activities, and finally, activities proposed. Audiolingual method. The emergence of audiolingual method results from the increased attention given to foreign language teaching in the United States in the 1950s. It is a combination between Army programs, oral and structural approach. The term was coined by Professor Nelson Brooks in 1964. He claimed to transform language teaching from an art to a science, which would enable learners to achieve a mastery of a foreign language effectively and efficiently. Audiolingualism advocated a return to speech-based interaction with the primary objective of oral proficiency.
As a set of structures including phonemes, morphemes, and syntax, the patterns of which can be deduced by analyzing the language used by native speakers. The audiolingual syllabus is organized around these linguistic structures, which are represented in dialogues and pattern drills. Language is viewed as a system of structurally related elements for the encoding of meaning, the elements being phonemes, morphemes, words, structures, and sentence types. An important tenet of structural linguistics was that the primary medium of language is oral. Speech is language. Since many languages do not have a written form and we learn to speak before we learn to read or write, it was argued that language is primarily what is spoken and only secondarily what is written. All natural languages first developed orally, and children learn their first language orally before learning its written form. The audiolingual method teaches listening and speaking before reading and writing. Theory of learning. This is developed through behaviorism, and there are three elements in learning: stimulus that serves to elicit behavior, response that is triggered by stimulus, reinforcement that encourages repetition. To apply this theory to language learning is to identify the organism as the foreign language learner, the behavior as verbal behavior, the stimulus as what is taught or presented of the foreign language, the response as the learner's reaction to the stimulus, and the reinforcement as the extrinsic approval and praise of the teacher or fellow students, or the intrinsic self-satisfaction of target language use. Objectives. Books distinguishes between short-range and long-range objectives of an audiolingual program. Short-range objectives include training in listening comprehension, accurate pronunciation, recognition of speech symbols as graphic signs of the printed page, and the ability to reproduce these symbols in writing. Long-range objectives must be language as the native speaker uses it. There must be some knowledge of a second language as it is possessed by a true bilingualist.
Audiolingualism is a linguistic structure-based approach to language teaching. The language skills are taught in order of listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Listening is viewed as training in oral discrimination of basic sound patterns. The language may be presented orally first. Recognition and discrimination are followed by imitation, repetition, and memorization. When reading and writing are introduced, students are taught to read and write what they have already learned to say orally. Types of learning and teaching activities. Dialogues and drills are the basis of audiolingual classroom practice. The first one is repetition. A student repeats an utterance aloud as soon as he has heard it. He does it without looking at the printed text. Inflection. One word in an utterance appears in another form when repeated. I bought the ticket. I bought the candies. Replacement. One word in an utterance is replaced by another. Helen left early. She left early. Restatement. A student rephrases an utterance and addresses it to someone else according to instruction. Ask her how old she is. How old are you? Transposition. A change in word order is necessary when a word is added. For example, I am hungry, so am I. Expansion. When a word is added, it takes a certain place in a sequence. I know him hardly. I hardly know him. Contraction. A single word stands for a phrase or a clause. Put your hands on the table. Put your hands there. Transformation. A sentence is transformed by being made negative, interrogative, tense, mood, or voice. He knows my address. He doesn't know my address.
Activity. The teacher enters into the classroom and tells the students to listen and make silence, please. Then the teacher is going to read a short dialogue. Good morning, Bill. Good morning, Sally. How are you? Fine, thanks. And you? Fine. Where are you going? I'm going to the post office. I am too. Shall we go together? Sure, let's go. Then the teacher is going to use a chain drill. A chain drill gives students an opportunity to say the lines individually. The teacher starts by repeating the first line to a student. Good morning, Mauro. He responds, Good morning, teacher. The teacher says, How are you? And Mauro answers, Fine, thanks. And you? The teacher replies, Fine. Then, using mimic, the teacher tells to the student that repeat the action with his classmate. This action will be repeated with all of the students in order to make them talk. For the second part of the lesson, the teacher is going to use a single slot substitution drill, in which the students will repeat a sentence from the dialogue and replace a word or phrase in the sentence with the word or phrase the teacher gives them. The teacher starts by repeating a line from the dialogue. I am going to the post office. Following this, the teacher shows the students a picture of a bank and says the phrase, the bank. Then repeats, I am going to the bank. With this, students realize that they are supposed to take this new phrase and change it, making a new utterance. Now the teacher gives them another phrase, the drugstore, and together with the students say, I am going to the drugstore. Then the teacher gives another phrase, in this case, the park, and students in chorus, they say, I am going to the park. This action will be repeated with different phrases in order to create new utterances, and students change these words.
Today you are going to listen a dialogue about two friends talking, Sally and Molly. There is something wrong with my orange. What is wrong? It is not orange. Your orange isn't orange. No, it is dark pink. Are you sure? I never heard of such a thing. I just peeled it and I'm looking at it right now. Let me see. Yes, you are right. Your orange is pink. Oh, look, it is a pink grapefruit. Okay, now you are going to repeat after me, please. There is something wrong with my orange. Okay, come on. What is wrong? It is not orange. Your orange isn't orange. No, it is dark pink. Are you sure? I never heard of such a thing. Okay, you have problems with that sentence. Okay, come on. A thing, such a thing. Heard of such a thing. I never heard of such a thing. Sure? I never heard of such a thing. Are you sure? I never heard of such a thing. Okay, great. Now, students here are going to be Sally, and students here are going to be Molly, okay? Come on, come on.